My name is Kiran Pereira and I'm the founder and chief storyteller of SandStories.org. SandStories is a platform dedicated to creating awareness about a little-known environmental crisis. When we think about sand, we often think about beaches and holidays, but sand is also a part of our everyday life. From silicon chips to pharmaceutical products, from glass to infrastructure, sand is used in mind-boggling volumes. Whether we are brushing our teeth or drinking water from a tap, it's likely that sand was used as part of the supply chain in some form or shape. And most people are not aware of this, and it's very, very important. Scientists tell us that sand and gravel are the most extracted group of materials across the world, even more than fossil fuel or biomass. Conservative estimates suggest that we use about 40 billion tons a year, and sand extraction, the industry, is worth about 70 billion. But sand is not a sustainable resource. It takes millions of years to form. What people don't know is that there are different kinds of sand, and not every kind can be used as a resource. And that's why it's very important to create awareness about this. Some countries even have a sand mafia. People actually get killed over sand. And there's new research that says illegal sand mining is the third biggest crime, second only to counterfeiting and drug trafficking, and yet nobody talks about it. We never question where the sand comes from. In developed economies, the supply chain is very organized and it's very hidden from view. But in developing economies, the supply chain is very in your face, it's very evident, and so are the impacts. We see huge impacts on local livelihoods, on biodiversity, on our resilience to extreme events such as flooding and droughts, on our coastlines. There's so much more to be discovered. I was born and raised in Bangalore, where it's very common to see sand trucks filled with sand moving up and down the country. And cities are growing at a very rapid pace, much faster than we could have imagined over a few years ago. Today, more than half the world's population lives in cities, and they say by 2050, this number is going to increase to 66%. It only means that ever-increasing demand is not going to be supported by our dwindling sand reserves. Yes, it's important to talk about the problem, create awareness, but I think it's even more important to start talking about solutions. That's where Sand Stories comes into the picture. It aims to bridge the gap between science, policy and industry, and we'd love to find and promote people who are working on solutions across the world. That's the aim and vision of the organization. There are examples of organization. In fact, industries are beginning to find alternatives. For example, now many construction industries are beginning to use recycled aggregate. But the general public is not aware of this, and the gravity of the situation hasn't really percolated into the mainstream, and that's what I want to change. For general consumers, I think it's very important to start asking questions about where the sand comes from. So there's sand in concrete, there's sand in every glass pane, there's sand in so many products that we use. Where is it coming from? I think it's important to start exploring that question. So that's why I wrote the book Sand Stories. The aim was to create more awareness about how sand is used in our daily lives, why it's the most consumed commodity on earth, what are the problems of indiscriminate sand mining, and what are the solutions. That's the awareness that I'd like the book to create. Although it's based on science, it's written with a journalistic flair, so it's written in an easy-to-read format that I hope people will find engaging.